Greetings and welcome to Bugs Nager's TTV. Tell Truth Vision. Here to control our narrative. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell as videos will be uploaded randomly. Peace, family.
Leave it up to me while I be living proof to kick the truth to the young black youth.
So I've always said that name calling tends to take the conversation somewhere else. I speak at school, if you want a name call, you're free to do that. But I feel that when you try to get somewhere, particular name calling tends to actually subvert it. Are we saying that we want to try to stay clear from that? Or are we say name calling, it might be necessary? I don't know. How do you feel?
I think name calling should be a no-no.
Yeah?
I think it always says that you've lost an argument.
Further discussion.
Yeah.
How does name calling move us forward in a kind of progressive manner? Name calling adds nothing. If you don't have something to add, then there's no point in putting it.
So could we say if someone's consistently name calling, that we could use that as a called off suggestion, that you have to walk off because you're back-to-back name calling? Like I said, there might be a value in name calling, so if someone can argue that place, then so be it. But right now we're saying that name calling and also highly arguable personas, we want to keep it free from here.
I'd just like to say that's all fine, but as a believer in free speech, call me whatever name you
So you need to swear.
All the free speech directs in that way.
We want to try to allow conversations to flow as natural as possible. So there might be some requests from the people to sit down, like, if we can minimize it. What I will tell you, some of the stuff we're going to talk about is going to hit certain people, and not necessarily in the circle we found last week. You can get people outside the circle who want to contribute. Now, the rules that we try to have is that it's technically only the people inside you can speak, right? Maybe if someone was to throw a good idea through, but generally, having a conversation with someone outside, that could be problematic, right? Now, unless someone wants to give up their seat, this is what I'm suggesting. If we want to include them from the outside circle, maybe seats have to be given up, but then they too have to agree with the general person's agreement that they can actually ask to leave if they cause corruption and disruption.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Just going back to free speech. Free speech doesn't mean being able to abuse another person. That's not the definition of free speech. Free speech is to talk about why you don't like another person. That's the basic definition of what free speech is. And not to be confused with this gentleman's idea of free speech, which is incorrect.
I don't know that is correct. I think aside from actually inciting violence or from screaming fire in a crowded theatre when there is none, I think that free speech actually does mean the freedom to say anything you like, even if it is against it.
No.
No.
In law it doesn't, no.
What about harassment? So for example,
harassment's
I could swear at you and you don't want to engage with me, but I do not stop.
If you follow me, if you pursue me down the street, then I've got a legal case against
Right,
you.
okay.
So this is different from the subject that we started with, but since it's come up naturally, I'm just going to roll with it. The subject of free speech is interesting because it is a political subject. If we're going to talk about things like harassment and cyberbullying, that's not in the realm of free speech. That's just bad behavior. I'll put it to you this way. Anybody here who has a significant other, a girlfriend or a husband or whatever, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't tell my girlfriend that the dress makes her look fat, even though I think so. So is that an infringement of my free speech? No, it's just a recognition that part of the conversation adds nothing and will just produce results even though it's what I think. So that's not the same as free speech. Free speech is a political subject, and it is about the right to dissent and the right to claim that authorities are in error or that certain ideas need to be investigated because they are unpopular and they might be valid now. If we're going to talk about people insulting other people, it's like, sure, you have the right to say what you want, but that's not quote-unquote free speech. That's just you being
The government's legislation always that said that you couldn't say certain things to your significant other, I'd have a problem with that. Even though I might not necessarily be, I'm not an arsehole myself, but I wouldn't say that. But if the government started telling me what I couldn't say, exactly, then I'd start feeling quite disturbing. But
I'm going to disappear in about 10 minutes.
We're going to try to start now because the gentleman who put the first
not want to hurry, but this is such a beautiful thing we've got here compared to what was there. I just want to experience
Well,
a bunch of good
considering that you came up with the starting topic, maybe you would want to give us your interpretation of what electric guilt is, as well as why you brought up in the first place.
The reason I'm quite keen on it is because I had a discussion with the Nation of Islam guy there, who was there a while ago.
Right.
Leo Mohammed.
And it was, he was very polite and he invited questions, and he was making statements about white people as a collective. The statements weren't inaccurate, as in the evidence he was bringing, but he was using a catch-all phrase all the time.
Right.
We know that any ethnic group is not monolithic. There's lots more complexity. So I said to him, when it comes to me as a white person, I said, could you identify which white people you mean? Because my heritage is Irish. Now, explaining to Mo, my people come from the most western part of Europe, western part of Ireland, poorest island you never go on. They're living on scratch. Taylor family was obliterated. They were the British were over there. They took the land away, expanded their religion, took the land away from them. These are, as far as a mess could be created from colonialism, this is what happened to me. So as a white person, am I caught in this collective guilt? To make matters worse, my other heritage is German. Okay. And I remember at the end of the Second World War, everybody was a German, was a Nazi. Everybody was a German, was all, every magazine, every boy's comic, Germans, why they even made to look like monsters. So I had two things kind of operating in my mind, and I'll be honest with you, I became a very, very virulent white supremacist. I was a Nazi. I went as far down the line as you could get, because I was reading things about Dresden, I was reading things about things that the Allies did to the Germans that I'd never heard of. I thought, there's a conspiracy going on here. I want to read more. And as you want to read more, you're being fed more by the people you meet until you build up this huge thing which is full of facts, but they're not balanced with any other facts. You just hold on to this load of facts. So I remember, I'll be very, very brief. I remember while I was walking towards this church, and there would be a black guy, like you and me, walking towards each other, narrow pavement. Okay, there's a gunner. Which of us is going to go in the gun? It was one of those kind of playoffs. So the black guy went into the church, and I went in afterwards. Now, there was no one else in the church. He doesn't even know who I am to this day. But when I knelt down and he knelt down, I thought to myself, hang on. But my brother had just been beaten up by our skinhead mates. It was a really bad scene going on. And I thought, I feel closer to this black guy in this church because we're both acknowledging something far greater than us, than any of the tribal kind of what I tried to find in tribal groups, and it made that big bag of facts I had melt in the witnessing what's happened. And then I started to notice, see that happy multiracial country? I never used to notice those kind of things. They look like they love each other and they love their kids. And I would have never, because I was carrying this baggage of grievances that were facts. And I don't know, black people are the same against white people. The things you hold on to are factual, but they're part of the picture, not the whole picture. So that's why I wanted to open up the whole idea of collective guilt. So that's where it comes from.
So you identify as a former white supremacy,
yes.
Of Irish background and German background. And would you say you gravitate more towards your German heritage?
When I was a young man, I did, because I was influenced by some of the films, some of the imagery, some of the things that I liked, and I really disdained my Irish background, just the influence and value. Because we were mixing in a group of people that didn't really make it. And now, I'd almost reject my English heritage for Irish. I really would. I mean, I've been willing to get rid of my English passport because my father's heritage is Irish and I feel so much more akin to that. But I also, I'm aware that the English working class, if you want to blame them, I think they're as blameless as the Irish. I think we're dealing with a very small American.
Well, you said something. You said that, you mentioned that you see yourself as half Irish, half German. And then you mentioned being English. And then you said that you would probably try to do away with English. So that's interesting. But the question I've asked is, well, what makes you, as a white person, as you've identified, want to get rid of part of your heritage? And what has been happening, or not has been happening, that makes you want to disown from one side and gravitate to the other side?
That's a good point. I think because I was born in England and I look English and I speak English, I felt that was my identity. Because I looked, I spoke, I And you know, when I was 16, I got my England tattoo. I went over to school, and I was really, I mean, I was lucky that wasn't a swastika. It could have been at the
Could have
time.
been, yeah.
Really, really could have been.
Yeah.
But as you mature, things do change in life. I mean, most 17, 18-year-olds when they're 40, they're not going to be doing the same kind of things. But that kind of defined who I was at the time. But as I've grown older, I've found more affinity. And I think this is something personal to all of us. It's a personal affinity to Ireland. Especially when I think, now hang on, I'm half German and half Scots-Irish. There isn't actually any English blood. So I feel it's legitimate to, you know, I can choose. I've got freedom to choose which my ancestors.
But you're not choosing German.
No, I'm not. No.
But you identify strongly as, would you say, a Nazi?
Yeah.
So why today are you no longer identified as either Nazi or a German?
I think my gravitation to, I think maybe my personality is extreme anyway, because I was an alcoholic. Most things that I got into, I kind of maxed out. So it's an alcoholic rather than anything. It's just I thought I would find fulfillment at the end kind of games. But I think it was because you meet people who influence you, and they're big players in our lives that create us who we are. So I would have met some people who were white supremacists who would have showed me facts that no one else was showing me. They would have fed me things. So it's a bit like, say, if I was a black person, someone showed me a lynching that I wasn't aware of. That really, that would be the start of a progression in exactly the same way. But then when I saw pictures of the starving Germans, Dresden, a whole load of horrible things the Allies did that we never ever turned about, I thought conspiracy or national socialism. But for me personally, I want to graft my family, my generation as Irish.
Okay. Do you, and we're going to explain out.
Sorry, yeah.
Do you feel, because it starts like white guilt, do you feel white guilt?
No.
Right. So why have you brought this, just so we can open to other people, why have you brought up this concept of white guilt?
Because I'm interested in, is somebody, it's a bit like, what do they call it, original sin. Is anybody guilty for anything they haven't personally done? And like, what's the name of the Nation of Islam guy? He would say I was guilty because I didn't do anything about it. Just as guilty as the people who collaborated with the Nazis, they should have overturned it. But in like manner, the Nation of Islam should be storming Buckingham Palace, otherwise they're guilty, they're complicit just as much. So that's kind of the thing. Is I don't think that we should be punished for things that we personally haven't done.
Do you think there's white guilt? Do you feel that is happening? That you are being punished for something you haven't done?
No, I personally don't.
The questions are...
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
To make your conversation does anyone feel that they are being punished for something that they thought you might?
Oh, we sort of had this discussion 2 weeks ago or something on reparations. Well, no, reparations was last week. We touched on white guilt at the end of 2 weeks ago. I would say not immediately and not on such an institutional level, but at times it does feel like the straight white man seems to be the sort of bane of all problems in the world, and I also don't have it. I don't think as bad as perhaps the working class version of that, since I'm a bit more middle class. But I think as a working class white man, I think there is a risk, there is a sort of potential that you'll be demonised as this kind of, oh well, your people did slavery, therefore, to hell with you.
Can I ask a question? In what context do you experience that discrimination? Because I see it a lot on YouTube videos and debates and stuff like that, but in day-to-day life, have you ever experienced that kind of discrimination?
I'm saying me, not particularly, luckily. I just, on several occasions at school, I've had sort of members of staff while doing something which was actually going to be learning a language says, listen, I don't want to assume anything about you because I don't know you very well, but as a cisgender straight white guy, you probably never experienced discrimination in your life. You actually don't know me, so maybe that's not to make such an assumption like that. I'm not claiming oppression or anything. I've got it quite nice myself. But
was he right?
Sorry? She wasn't right.
Yeah, I think the idea of white guilt doesn't.
Is it not?
No, I always stand up. I'm a speaker.
Does it make it more important?
Thank you. There is, though, guilt, and there are people guilty of horrific crimes. So it's a very good starting point, this what you brought up. But there are people who are guilty, and those people are the people that own everything in this world. Because the majority of these people own absolutely nothing. Because you have a TV or a beautiful Pixel 2, I believe.
Free, nearly.
Pixel free.
Well done,
lucky man. It doesn't mean that somehow you have ownership of
That's
this
right.
world.
That's right.
Or anything. That does not equate to that. It's
right.
a good starting point, true. But ownership means having ownership of your political being. That's what ownership. And as soon as you have ownership of your own political being, you in that instant
Choice of your destiny.
stop becoming a slave. Because the slave isn't just somebody who's literally in chains, which obviously it is, but also there are other chains that exist in this world, and it's chains of philosophy. And philosophy is convincing people that you're not allowed to have political power within yourself. And
Catch the
political
full
power
video on content
is
over everything.
executed
Yeah.
by
Catch
a
the full video
particular
on content
building
over everything.
or a particular group. That is slavery. That is where guilt stands for.